What's good, my idol monglers? Today, I have a very special video prepared for you. Few things to get out of the way first. One, I'm very sweaty right now. Went out for a run. I'm not gonna lie. It was like a run, and then it was like I'm gonna take a nap on the street, and then it was like a walk, and then it was a swift jog because I thought I was really in it more, and then I was running a little bit, and then I was like, okay, I'm actually gonna get run over by traffic now, purposely, and then I went home. Called an Uber. I didn't call an Uber. I just went back. Well, it was a two-way thing. Whatever. That doesn't matter. Went for a run, and then I got the soccer ball, like a genuine soccer ball from a game at this I almost called it a gas station, a garage sale, and I'm playing around with it a little bit, running, like doing stuff. I've never played soccer my entire life. I'm just a big fan of it, so I was just having some fun playing around with it. That's not important. I know I'm sweaty, and now I'm filming this video. I'm gonna be doing I'm gonna be like, you know how like Trump did that interview where he was like, "It is fucking hot in here." I can't do a Trump impression. "It is fucking hot in here. I'm sweating a lot. I know in the papers they're going to be saying I'm sweating a lot, and that's suspicious. It is fucking hot in here." And then I'm doing like the controversial shit while I'm sweating. I better not see anybody in the comments being like, "Victor," sorry, I can't use my legal name, "Idol Manga, you were sweating so much. That means you were nervous." Whatever. This is the dumbest bit. Okay. We're going to get into the video. I have 3 videos to look over, at least the comments. I'm going to look at your guys' hot takes and also your responses to my hot takes. I saw a lot about the Nintendo Switch 2. I have some things to clarify. And I saw a lot of stuff about Mario Kart, and Mario Kart has changed. So, yeah, I'm going to, go over it. Let's start off with the first one from Memento Samori. Thing about the Switch 2. Okay, so let's get it over with. My first 2 opinions in the hot takes, my first 2 hot takes were the Switch 2 is not overpriced and Mario Kart World is not overpriced. So, let's just read this first one. "I think the main problem with the Switch 2 isn't the price. It's that Nintendo is geared more towards young kids and adults for nostalgia, while PS and Xbox are geared more towards teenagers and adults. For a kid who doesn't have a job, it's hard to save up $500 even with Christmas and birthday money." I agree, but I have some caveats. One, let's just get it out of the way that the Nintendo Switch 2 is the highest selling console ever. Like, not like highest selling, like has the most units, but like in the first, I forgot what it was, like the first week span or whatever, it's the highest selling console. Beat out PS5 and it beat out the new Xbox. I don't know what the Xbox is called. 2, I know, I'm going to assume you are older teen to like young adult. I'm going to assume that you're that age. I think we're underestimating how much parents will spend on kids. Parents are already buying their kids $1,000 iPhones. And parents, like, do you remember when the PS5 came out and I saw fucking bunches of videos, videos upon videos upon videos of parents like buying their kid the PS5 and them opening it up during Christmas and being like, "Oh my god, I got the PS5." That shit was like $600 without a game, and scalpers were getting that shit for like $1 trillion and selling it for $1 trillion. So I don't think there's like a big, like, I remember back when like I was a kid, I would have to be like, "Mom, can I buy this $60 game?" And then she would be like, "No." So then I would have to save up money. Well, really, when I saved the money, it was more like I would do chores around the house, and I would get like, I do a total chore amount, and I like get to buy a game, and then but I still had to like pay money for like taxes or shipping if I wanted a physical, and we would still have to go to the GameStop, and like we'd have to figure out like there was a lot of steps for me buying one $60 game, or even if I wanted to get a system, I couldn't just like go out and get a system. When I was a kid, I had to like either wait for Christmas or my birthday or something, and I had to put on my wish list. Like there was a whole thing about it. I genuinely don't think that's what parents are doing anymore. And also, I don't know. I feel like there's also an argument. I don't know if any of these say here. There's also an argument that like, oh well, a Switch. You need to, like, if you, let's say you're a family of 4, family of 5, you need to buy 5 Switches. I don't think any family's doing that. You can make separate accounts. There's 2 controllers for one console for a reason. Plus, all the Switch 1 controllers work on it too. I don't think you need to buy multiple. I didn't buy multiple Switches. I live with a second person. So, I just don't think you need that. I don't know. I feel like kids are spending a lot more money nowadays, and I don't even think like kids are saving anymore. Like I don't think parents are even doing that anymore. And that's just shit I see from online. Obviously, there's gonna be a huge like I don't know the fucking statistics. There's probably some scientific anecdote of like, oh, this amount of kids save and this amount of kids the parents just spend. I don't know. All I know is that the Nintendo Switch is the highest selling console in a week or whatever the number is, in a day, whatever it is. That cannot just be diehard Nintendo fans that have a lot of money. There has to be a somewhat percentage of 9-year-olds who cannot pay $500. So I'm gonna just chalk it up to that. That's like what I'm gonna say. And I do kind of have like the advantage here in this, and me like looking at these hot takes, just because I have the data and a comment can only say so much while I can make a 30 to an hour minute video about it. So obviously this guy says he's my favorite YouTuber. I'm just moving on to the next comment. This guy says he's my favorite YouTuber. Thank you very much. This guy says your pave the way take is so valid. I was in the same boat on Dragon Ball where I didn't grow up with it, but I buddy read it with someone since he wanted to re-experience it from the source, and I can confidently say OG Dragon Ball holds up well. The balance of comedy and action is really well done. Toriyama is goated at action paneling, and it was really fun. It was a really fun read as someone who went in with no nostalgia for it. Okay, thank you. This is in agreement with my take that people do not sell Dragon Ball well, because anytime I ask, why is Dragon Ball good? They just say, it paved the way for Shonen. That's not a real reason. Why would I care about that? So I'm glad to hear that, and it makes me more interested to read Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super or any of the Dragon Ball manga. Tom Brady, like Tom Brady, but with an N, saw this late and still killed it with them long. He just thanks me. Okay, I very much appreciate it. Let me look at his other comment, though, because he put 2 comments. Actually, 3, but he just put an emoji now. I agree with what you said about Dragon Ball and old manga. I couldn't care less about what paved the way. I want to see things that are actually good things that just happen to be 100 years old, and that the only reason why people like it is because of nostalgia. My favorite manga creator is Urasawa. I've read Billy Bat, Pluto, Monster, and 20th Century Boys, Master Kian, Sneeze, and Mujirushi. A Sign of Dreams, and I have Asadora too. Just haven't started it. I own everything by him in English, so I agree with your take on the author thing. It's whack how people will say their favorite author and only read one of their stories. This guy just says he fucks with AOT Junior High. I don't believe that. That's not real, bro. That's not. Also, I learned that Hajime Isayama didn't actually write AOT Junior High, but like, I'll get more to that because I know there's a comment in here that debates my topic on your favorite author cannot just be the guy who wrote your favorite manga. This guy's actual hot take is Death Note's second half is just as good as the first half. Nier is an amazing character. Now, I agree and I disagree. I also think it's not maybe as good, but it is still really, really good. Like, it's not as good as the first half because the first half was just so compelling and so gripping and had so many great ideas. But the second half adds I feel like another layer to the story of Death Note, as well as like just adding another aspect to it. Like, I think what makes, in my opinion, Death Note's second half so good is just seeing Light in such a stress situation, and we actually get to see his flaws and intelligence. Like, a lot of people say they nerfed Light. I don't think it's a nerf Light. It's just showing something that he's not as good at. Like, when there's a lot of moving parts, when it was just a one-on-one thing and it was a battle of intelligence with one other person, he was excellent at that. But when you have to control an entire fucking police, not station, I can't think of the word, but like fucking police company or whatever, like like an entire like department of police, and you have to worry about these people in America, and a lot of this stuff is online, and you know the rate of killings are getting slower as well that you're doing. It shows that when there's a lot of moving parts, Light kind of gets overwhelmed, and I think that's really, really interesting, especially at the end, where he can't even conceive that someone would alter his plans in such a way that almost contradicts his entire way of thinking. Like, I think that's really, really interesting, and it's something that's not really looked at like that much as compared to the part one. The problem I have issues with is I don't think Nier or Mello are as compelling characters as L. L is just he's just such a great reverse and just such a great contrast on Light that Nier and Mello just don't even come close to. Like, they're fun characters. I'm not going to say I dislike them, but they are nowhere near as good as Light, in my opinion. Honestly, I forgot his name, but I think his name's Ryusei, the like second Kira that he like controls behind the shadows. I think is much more interesting than him because he's a lot more risk taking, but he's a lot less intelligence. And I think it's a really good parallel to have those two people on the same team, for one to control the other and the other to partner with the other. So I really like that dynamic more than Nier, Mello, and Light. Especially because they don't meet each other very much. The only time they meet, or the only time they really talk, is at the finale when Light fucking dies. So, yeah, I don't know. I just didn't really like that part. I just didn't really like those characters. That's why I think it is a bit of a fall off for me. But, yeah, I still think it's done, like, really, really well. Okay. This guy says, who always writes paragraphs, which I love. Again, I will always say, I will read your comment no matter how long it is. By Steve Clark 1, I do kind of agree with the Shonen Jump criticism. This is me saying Shonen Jump is kind of boring now. I'm kind of over everything that's in Shonen Jump currently. Not much has really caught my eye, and you have to read the second volume of Kagurabachi at least. I think I said Kagurabachi was boring. I don't even remember. The first volume isn't bad at all. It's just foundation work for peak. Okay. You probably won't like Ichi the Witch if you didn't like Black Clover, to be honest. Well, actually, Ichi the Witch, I think is either written or drawn by the same person who did Welcome to Demon School of Rumakun. So, I don't know. We'll have to see. My hot take is that Blue Box is probably the most overrated series in Shonen Jump and in general. I'm a Blue Box fan. Okay. I find it hard to rate a will they won't they romance series as high as what people say about it and what the numbers say about it. It's kind of hard to mess up a not so challenging formula, if I'm being honest. It might be on the higher end of will they won't they romance manga, but it doesn't escape its box of being a wish fulfillment self-insert story. I got some things to say about that. You probably don't view the story as that since you have a girlfriend, but you have to think about how many low self-esteem people, especially since it's Japan, are eating stuff like this up and not for the reasons of enjoying a good fictional story. Okay, fair. Very, very fair. I will say, okay, I praise Blue Box for not being a self-insert story. So let me say my piece. For me, what is so good at what Blue Box does so well is it doesn't trap itself in the bad pacing box that every other romance will. It like perfectly balances the romance and sports aspect. Every time I'm reading it, if I'm like, the romance is getting kind of boring, it moves over to sports. Anytime I'm like, the sports is getting a bit derivative, moves over to romance. Like, it balances it, like, perfectly, in my opinion. The cast of characters are fantastic. Like, the guy's, like, head honcho friend or whatever. I forgot his name. But that guy, he's great, and his girlfriend are fantastic. And other characters sprinkle off of them, too. Like, there's a girl in there that I really like her philosophy of, like, oh, you know, like, if a guy asks me on a date, there's no reason to say no. And she kind of just dates whoever she wants. And, like, the main character's friend who has, like, the glasses and he's, like, the best wingman ever. I still say he's the best wingman ever. I think the cast of characters are fantastic. They're done in, you know, a great way, in my opinion. I don't really think he's a self-insert. In my opinion, when I think of a self-insert, I think of a character who does bad things but still gets away with it. I think of a Kazuya from Rent-A-Girlfriend. I actually am gonna talk about Rental Girlfriend in a maybe not a new video, like a soon to be video, but I'll talk about it eventually. Because I have some things to say about the ending. I actually have some things to say about the entire series. I think about Kazuya from Rent a Girlfriend because he is a character who stalks the main girl, is an awful person, jerks off like every other hour. He's just like insufferable as a person, but every girl flocks to him. Every girl loves him. Whatever, right? What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, every girl flocks to him. Every girl loves him, right? Whatever. Main character Blue Box, he does have that where his friend likes him as well as he eventually gets together with like the main girl, but he's such a more inspiring person like that. Like I can definitively see reasons why both of the girls like him. There are actual reasons why I think both of the girls like him, and it's not just he's just the self-insert character. Kazuya, I look at him, I'm like, I genuinely cannot see the appeal of that man. Main character, I cannot believe, I think his name's Taiki. I'm gonna just say Taiki, because I think that's his name, but I could be 100% wrong. I can see why both of them like Taiki. He's diligent, he's hardworking, he looks incredible because he plays badminton, he's kind. Like, there are lots of reasons why I could see, like, a woman gravitating towards him. Not for Kazuya, not for any other self-insert character. So in my head, that's more of a self-insert. Because if someone in Japan who is a loser or someone who just, like, doesn't go out and meet people or is not social or whatever, who is just literally, like, I hate to be mean, literally just a loser, like, if you can think about it in your head, just a grade A loser, and they look at that manga and they read it and they go, damn, that could be me. Like, if that can happen in that manga, that could happen to me. I just need to find my waifu. I just need to find... Like, that is a self-insert in my head. I don't really see it... I don't really see Taiki being a self-insert character. I do get that, like, he has multiple... He has 2 love interests. He might have a third, actually. I'm trying to... I don't think he has a third. At least in what I've read. But, I mean, yeah, that's really all I have to say about Blue Box. And I don't think it's overrated at all. I do hear some people say it's the best romance ever. Which, I mean, I haven't read that many romance, but at least from the knowledge I have, like, brother, weren't we glazing Fruits Basket like 2-3 years ago? Are we just gonna forget about that? I haven't read Fruits Basket, but I hear it's fantastic, and I hear everyone loves it. And there's so many other romance out there that I feel like could maybe be better than it. I know it's one of my favorites, but I just haven't read that many romance manga. The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity is still my favorite, though. Blue Box is second, but The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity is still my favorite. What else could I say about Blue Box? I don't know. I don't really have, like, an opinion on it. I don't think it's overrated. It might be the most overrated in Shonen Jump. I just think the pacing is really good. It's not, like, a creepy romance either. I have such a big issue with a romance manga where they, like, make the main character really creepy and they just, like, slide it off as, like, it's a relatable thing. And I just hate that shit so much. Like, I remember I was reading Blue Box, like, for the first time, and there's a scene where Taiki says some shit, and this happens not even in manga, too, regular books as well. He says some shit like, oh, I could smell her scent, just, like, offhandedly, and I'm like, I got the impression, like, this is gonna be a weird fucking romance, is it? Because I hate that shit so much. I hate when a character, another hot take, I hate when romance characters will be like, oh, their scent, it smells so good. I can smell their scent on this backpack. Who fucking talks like that? And I said this to I can't believe this guy's a fucking freak. I said this to my friend, and he was like, bro, that's like normal. Like when they use like the same shampoo or whatever, and then you smell the shampoo. Is that normal? Maybe my sense of smell is just fucked up. I'm not like, oh shit, it smells like her. Oh my God. I'm flabbergasted by that. I just can't imagine thinking like that, but whatever. Doesn't matter. I think Blue Box is fantastic. But I respect the opinion, honestly. I respect it very much. Alright. Oh, fuck. Not this one, bro. I see the first fucking sentence. I see the first fucking phrase that's already got me pissed off. By Laws JP. Hot take. The horizon is mid. 98% of the story is unrivaled nihilism with reoccurring Bible quotes that wears the mask of meaningless. Example. Thou came from dust, and unto dust thou shalt return. And all is vanity, just for the last 2% to be an ill-considered come-to-Jesus moment with no exploration or elaboration. Okay, well, let's just read the rest of his take. Before we bully him, let's just read the rest of his take, guys. What the series has done well is choosing of events and phenomenal art, but with horrible execution, primarily for its attempt at philosophy while exploring nothing. Okay. We're already 20 minutes in. There's 2 final takes here, and then we have to move on to the other 2 videos. Okay, let's break this down. You start off with saying there's 98% of nihilism in the story, which, okay, sorry about that. My phone, for some reason, keeps running out of storage. Couldn't tell you why. Genuinely couldn't tell you why. We're just gonna run it back. Let's just quickly deal with the Horizon take and we'll move on. There's 98% of the story's unrivaled nihilism. Nihilism is kind of tricky. I don't think it's nihilism. It is just bleakness, but it's not nihilism. Nihilism is the belief that there is no God. When the manga is like incredibly Christian. So, I don't think it's very nihilistic. Reoccurring Bible quotes that wears a mask and meaningless. Example, there's literally 1 Bible quote in the entire manga. So, how can there be this is the only Bible quote in the manga. Maybe I'm missing one. If something is repeated twice, that's not like that bad. You know what I mean? Like that's not that bad. And Bible quotes, like, they serve a purpose. It's a Christian manga. It's a manga all about having faith that there is something better on the horizon. There is something better in the future. And all is just for the last 2% to be an ill-considered come to Jesus moment with no exploration or elaboration. You said it here about how good the art is. In my opinion, the elaboration is in the art. Like him, like the main character, like running to save that the husband or whatever from that family, is like, we'll get to it as we go down this thing, but like the exploration or elaboration is in the art and it's in the storytelling. I don't need, at least I don't. I'm not trying to hate. My bad. But I don't need like words to tell me, oh, this is how this works, and this is how and you need to do this, and you need to do that. When it's mostly just supposed to be an experience, in my opinion. What the series has done well is choosing. I don't know what choosing of events means. Just like pacing, like this is gonna happen first, then this, then this, then this. It does do that well, but yeah, definitely. And phenomenal art, which it does have, but with horrible execution, primarily for its attempt at philosophy while exploring nothing. This is like you get it or you don't. I can't be like, I can't sit here and look at the camera when I obviously have a higher position of power than you because I'm the one filming and be like, no, you don't get the meaning of this manga. It actually means this, this, this. Here's your response. I can't do that. I can give you what I got from the manga, which was basically just, even in a time of suffering, the beauty of it is that we suffer together and that experience is chosen together, and the only answer to that is the togetherness that hope brings and that faith brings, and having faith in something that does not necessarily exist, but that faith being the thing that saves you, and that hope being the thing that saves you and the thing that can give you comfort, even if it's hope in something that is so ambiguous as God. I think it's really, really interesting the way it explores that as well. Especially the way it's like contrasted with the boy and the girl and the suited man and the creepy man, and it sounds like a lot of crazy characters, but and the dad of the girl and all the people on the bus. It's explored really, really well, who all deal with different signs of unfaithfulness, that things will turn out well, and the I don't know. I just can't explain what like I got from it. I might, you know what? In the description down below, I'll link some YouTube videos that explore it better than I ever could, and they'll give you their experiences and their conclusions with the story. So maybe if you're still on the fence or whatever, or you stick to your opinion, you can go explore those. Again, I'm not going to be able to explain it that well, but that's just my opinion with it. That's how I feel about the series. It's almost like the beauty of suffering is that there is hope that comes out of it, and that you are together as people. Like, suffering is never the beauty. Like, suffering is never an alone, like an individual adventure. It's something that we all do, and the beauty of it is that we can come together in our own suffering, in our own bad times, and have hope in each other as well as hope in an ambiguous idea. But the hope in the ambiguous idea is the hope that will help us, if that makes sense. It's like, how do I say, I heard this great quote that doesn't really like help with the manga, but I heard this great quote. And it also depends if you're religious or not. But I forgot who it was, but he said something along the lines of like, even if you aren't religious, even if there is no God, let's say there's no God at all. Let's say 5,000 people think, okay, I'm going to do good stuff because there is a God, and if I don't do good stuff, I'm going to hell. Even if there is no God, because 5,000 people have faith and have hope that there's something better for them, they do good things, doesn't that mean that God is essentially created because those 5,000 people choose to do good things because of a higher power? Even if that higher power doesn't exist, that higher power is essentially the worry, the fear of going to hell. I think that kind of encompasses like what I'm trying to say. It's not like exactly, but I do think it's also like an interesting topic to explore. That's mainly my opinion on the Horizon, and there's a lot more like other stuff like how it deals with morality, and the manga explores a lot about how humans deal with their own morality, and how humans deal with hard times, especially in cases of war, in the case of like a future apocalypse, how humans deal with that in the different ways they cope with that. And it's explored by, the crazy ass man and the suited man and all that. And I do think it's really, really well done. And the parallels with the young boy and the young girl, and the way that that's explored with, I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a death in the manga, and the way that's explored with that. And the backstory as well is done so perfectly. Like, there's a lot of elements in this manga that I think you're kind of overlooking. But whatever, I respect your opinion. Let's just go down to the next one. And I'll link some videos. Holy shit, this is a long opinion. Okay, final opinion of the day. And then we're going to go to a couple ones, but this is like one of the big ones. He says too, the Switch 2 is not overpriced, but the package as a whole is. Buying half a dozen first-party titles, which never go down in price by the way, is costing you the same price as another Switch 2. Now, not to mention paying for online. Hold on. I'm trying to think of the word. When you buy the Nintendo Switch bundle, you get a year free online. I don't know if you know that. I'm just adding on. You get a free online. That doesn't like cancel it out. You still have to pay for the next year, but you get a free $50 a year online. And I do agree, but like other companies pay for online. That's not saying Nintendo is like guilt free or whatever. But like let's charge every game system, every video game company the same shit, the same standard. Sony and Microsoft both charge like Game Passes, so it's not the same thing, but they both charge for online. Buying half a dozen first-party titles, that one is true though. But in my opinion, the access, the fact that you are even able to, like, I bet if the Sony and Microsoft could somehow, some way get their hand on Nintendo Switch games, Nintendo would be out of a job in 3 months. Instantly. Well, maybe because they'd be getting paid for the, whatever. But they wouldn't stop making consoles altogether. They would just continue making games. Because nobody's buying a Nintendo console for the console itself. Nobody's buying it for the specs or whatever. They're only buying it for the games. Like, let's be honest. They're only buying it for the games. And the games are fantastic. So, yes, that is true. One is also paid in installments. Like, I can save up $70 to $60 a month pretty easily and it's harder for me to save up $500 in let's say a game's $70. So let's just say I don't even. 7 times 6 is what, 42? 7 times 7 is 49, so that's $400. All right, let's say, I think in my opinion, it's easier to save up $70 a month for 7 months for 7 different games than save up $500 over 7 months, in my opinion. And that's around the same math. So I think that logic is a bit flawed, which is whatever, it's fine. But at least I'm like, in my experience of like money, it's easier to save up $70 a month to buy a game a month. And games are coming out every month. At least for this year, we have a game coming out every month because, you know, the new console's out. Nintendo obviously want to push a lot of games. But, shit, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. But if you are choosing, okay, I'm going to buy a $70 game every single month, it's easier to buy the $700. It's not like you're going to buy every 7 months, you're buying a second Switch. Like this. And also, you could just not buy. Like, if we're going by this month metric that I've created, that you did not create, if we're going by this month metric, you can just skip a game. Like, there's a lot of people who are saying, bro, Welcome Tour should not be priced $10, which I agree, it should not. Just don't buy it. Like, they're like, bro, Nintendo are making us pay $10 for a pamphlet. Don't buy it. Nintendo learned their lesson, and they never either make a game like that, or they never charge any more. Like, vote with your wallet. You know what I mean? Like, don't buy it. So you can just skip a game all entirely. Like, I'm going to be honest. I'm buying DK. There's a high chance I don't buy Kirby Star Allies. Or, what is it? Kirby Airship or whatever? Air Ride? Whatever. I'm not buying that. I'm probably not going to buy that game. I have no interest in it. If it gets good reviews and people talk about it and it's relatively cheap, like a $60 game, not $70, or even, God forbid, a $50 game, I buy it. If that shit's $70 and it doesn't look good, it'll probably look good because Nintendo want to make the system as popular as possible, and that has to be done with good games. It's not as good. I'm not going to fucking buy it. Like, you can just not buy games. So, it's not like if you don't want to buy a game a month and you have to spend 70 months doing that, you can spend $500 on games for the entire year, which is still a lot. I'm not saying that's not a lot of money. That's still a fucking shitload of money, but you don't have to instantly buy games immediately. Okay. Is costing you paying. While PS XP offer monthly free games, great value Game Pass and major price reductions on Steam PC Store monthly, saving you hundreds in the long run with a larger library as well. That is very true, but in my opinion, the quality of the games are very different. At least, you know, in my experience, most of the games are going down in price, and you know, with the I have a PS5. I don't have an Xbox. The PS5 took me a while to get because I didn't see a use for it. And then I was like, they have to release some games. So I bought it. They're not releasing fucking games. The only game that's fucking released is GTA 6, and I'm not buying that shit. It's $100. And I didn't even fuck with GTA 5 that much. What was I going to say? Let's be honest. The quality of games, in my opinion, Nintendo is vastly superior, in my opinion. He's about to say I overrate Nintendo exclusives. So let's read this first. I think you overrate Nintendo exclusives as well. Pokemon on the Switch was embarrassing. True. Mario Kart, Odyssey, Party, Smash, 3D Zelda, Xenoblade, and maybe one Fire Emblem game are valid. But if that's all I'm missing out and over an 8-year time horizon on the previous gen, then I'm good personally. I think you underrate, you underrate Switch 2 Nintendo exclusives. Especially because a surplus of fucking money from the Switch 1 just came in. Oh my goodness, bro. There's so much shit that's going to come out. And let's be honest, I played Smash for maybe close to 10,000 hours. I would buy an entire other console and only one game, and that would be the next Smash Bros. Just so I could play another 10,000 hours. That's 100% worth it to me. In my opinion, the way I can think of a game actually being worth its money is take a dollar amount and then just convert it to hours. Let's say a game's $70. If you could see yourself playing that game for 70 hours and you actually have a decent amount of fun for that entire 70 hours, I say go buy it. I say it's worth your money. So I think most of those games, you know, when they come out are gonna be for me. I'm gonna love Zelda. I love both Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I've never really played a Xenoblade game, but I hear they're masterpieces. Let me think. You're forgetting about stuff like what's it called? Animal Crossing, which took the fucking world by storm during COVID. Like, that's also a big title. They're releasing a Splatoon game every 2 years. Mario has like 10 other spin-offs, including Luigi Mansion games, WarioWare games, Yoshi games. I mean, some of those are definitely hit or miss, but just having access to those and being able, like, let's say, like you mentioned Pokemon. Pokemon, yes, was embarrassing on the Switch. Genuinely, like, games should not be made that way. Like, there should not be that many bugs in such a big, like, just brand. But if, let's say you're a Pokemon fan and you go, okay, the Switch 2 is too expensive, which is, again, I'm totally, like, if you genuinely think the Switch 2 is too expensive and you don't buy it, 100% respect and support. I have no problem with that. I don't like the people who go, bro, it's so expensive. It's so fucking expensive, bro. And then they still buy it anyway. Because I didn't hear a single person, besides me, I didn't see a single person saying the Switch 2 and Mario Kart World are fairly priced. So how the fuck does it become the highest selling console ever in this time span? How the fuck does that happen if we're all complaining about how expensive it is? But, you know, whatever. That's a different side tangent. Let's say Pokemon do, and they're releasing ZA, which actually doesn't even look that bad. Let's say Pokemon do release like an actually big game, or they release like, maybe they do a Pokemon collection with all the main games, and they put it on the Switch 2 and exclusively on Switch 2. You missed that opportunity. You're missing the potential that Pokemon has. Let's say they release another game like Legends Arceus. I fucking love the Legends Arceus. I know Legends ZA is like the next thing, but let's say they actually release like a game with that catching mechanics, that playing mechanics, whatever. Those will, like, just having the potential to even have those is important. So, I think you're underrated Switch 2 exclusives, in my opinion. Yeah, that's really all I have to say. And it's not even just Switch 2, you also get other games as well. Like, obviously, like, if I could choose, I would be playing Cyberpunk or Batman Arkham or whatever on my PS5 or whatever the PS6. I'm not even going to buy the PS6, honestly. I don't care. I would obviously buy those on the PS5, but if you want to pick in my opinion, if you are down to either PC, PS5, the new Xbox, and the Switch 2, I say go get the Switch 2. In my opinion, I say go get the Switch 2, but whatever. And Donkey Kong is releasing like the greatest game ever, but that's just my opinion. I agree on the third take. Pave the Way is not a reason to recommend something. Shonen Jump is defo in a rut. Enjoying Akane Banashi Blue Box Witch Watch Sakamoto days, though. Let's be real, if Oda finished One Piece today and announced a new manga. Oh, this guy's on my other take. If Oda finished One Piece today and announced a new manga, everyone and their mother would pre-order that shit instantly. So disagree with that. One manga can't be favorite author. Okay, let me rephrase, because looking back, I don't think I talked about it well enough. In my opinion, when you buy a manga from your favorite author, you have to 100% trust that it's going to be good. That's what I was trying to say. If, let's say One Piece finished and Oda released a new manga, if that happened, I genuinely would not be surprised if it's absolute shit and One Piece was just a fluke. Or like, not a fluke, but like One Piece, like he found gold with One Piece and he couldn't replicate it. I would like be totally fine. I wouldn't be surprised if Oda could only tell one story. Like One Piece is my top 3. So like incredibly well, but if you could only tell one story. Like, the author of I'm actually reading Mob Psycho. Mob Psycho, One Punch Man, and Versus, and he's also releasing other manga. He is a mangaka or an author that can release multiple stories, not just multiple stories, but at once. He's able to write these different manga so easily, maybe not easily, but like just so well that I don't, like, I wouldn't, how do I say this? Like, if he released a new manga, actually, he's releasing like a fucking bug manga or whatever in English, I'm buying that instantly. Because I know he can make multiple good manga. That's why I say a favorite author, you need to at least have 2 manga that you both like. Because, again, let's say the author of Attack on Titan wrote maybe not something entirely different. Maybe it was like a Game of Thrones kind of thing. Like, still like a political drama, but maybe it was more fantasy instead of like medieval fantasy instead of like what Attack on Titan is having. And it was dog shit, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Even though Attack on Titan, I don't really agree with this per se. I don't think it's a masterpiece just because I haven't gotten that far into it. But even though everyone says it's a masterpiece, and you know they fucking love it or whatever, I wouldn't be surprised if it's shit. I wouldn't. Just because there's a lot of like we see it with music. Well, also we see it with like actual books too. There's some authors who write one book who's fucking fantastic, and that carries them their entire career. That one book. Stephen King is the opposite of that. Stephen King, he writes exceptional 10 out of 10 books every fucking 2 years or whatever. Every year, every 2 years, and he's good. I would accept that as a favorite author. I would not accept I don't even know. I can't even think of an author right now, but I just wouldn't accept them for just one book that was really, really good. Like, you need to like multiple of their manga. Oh, excuse me. What I mean is, a favorite author, you need to trust that the next manga they make is gonna 100% be incredible. With Oda, I couldn't trust that. Haruichi Furudate, the man who wrote my favorite manga of all time, Haikyuu, I wouldn't trust it. If he bought it, I would buy it immediately. Of course I'd buy it immediately if he released a new manga. I wouldn't be surprised if it's shit. I wouldn't. Especially because he seems so passionate about volleyball. Like, if Oda tried to write like a slice of life manga, I don't think it'd be good. I don't think he would write any other manga. He seems so passionate about pirates and his One Piece story. Couldn't see him doing it. I couldn't see him writing any other manga. Sui Ishida, I could see him after Trojan X or whatever. Like, I read all of Tokyo Ghoul, by the way. Fucking fantastic. After Trojan X, I could see him like writing something that's I could see him writing something that's totally out of left field and still being good. I can see him writing a romance manga and still being good. Like, he has the skills to do that. Oda, I feel like, is more developed in one story. Hajime Isayama, who's the Attack on Titan author, again, prove me wrong. By all means, prove me wrong. Oda stops One Piece right now and releases another manga that's twice as long or whatever and twice as good. Brother, prove me wrong. I want you to prove me wrong. But I cannot honestly, in good faith, say, this guy is my favorite manga author, but he's only wrote one thing that I like. I can't do that in good faith. And I can't listen to someone who says that in good faith. Alright. IMO, most manga do deserve a well-executed adaptation. Last year, for example, we had Frieren and Delicious in Dungeon, two excellent manga, elevated above their original medium because a lot of care was put into the adaptation. In my opinion, okay, let me get this out of the way. Frieren and Delicious in Dungeon were elevated by their anime. True. Demon Slayer was elevated by its anime. But a manga that uses the medium of manga so well will never be able to get a satisfactory anime adaptation. JJK is literally the only one, and that's because they put $1 gazillion into it and gave them like a trillion amount of years to. I mean, I know they didn't because animators were overworked, but like they hired the best talents, the most skilled animators. They put a shit ton of money in it, and they gave them at least a good enough amount of time to make it. That is a manga that is elevated by the manga medium and the anime medium. When is the last time a manga was actually like that? When is the last time? When was the last time a manga got an anime adaptation where it's elevated by the manga medium and by the anime medium? The only times that actually happen is when when a manga is given so much care and attention. But it doesn't happen very often. Demon Slayer is not elevated by the manga medium. If anything, it's pulled down because the story is fine, the characters are good, and the art is fucking atrocious though. Like, the still panels are good, like the art style is great, but the action is fucking atrocious. I can't do it. I can't read the action in Demon Slayer. But when it's animated, it's elevated by the anime medium. When's the last time a manga was like that? Something like Haikyuu, I think the manga is better because the manga medium is able to make the ball move and able to direct my eyes to the next panel. It's elevated by the manga medium. Look at a manga like Land of the Lustrous. That is a manga that could only work in manga. It can never be animated. And I know there is an anime adaptation. How many people know about it? How many people really know about it? It's talked about somewhat in the manga community. Nobody fucking talks about it in the anime community. Nobody even knows about it. So I cannot in good faith be like, yeah, how do I fucking say this? I cannot think like, yeah, this manga or whatever needs an anime adaptation because it's done so well as a manga. Something like Wandance, I could see getting a great adaptation just because there's no music in Wandance, and Wandance is a dancing manga to like hip hop music. I could see it being worse because the art of Wandance elevates that manga so fucking well. The anime would have to go above and beyond. There's so many manga like that. I can't even keep track of them. At least the ones that I've read. Like Blue Lock, there's a reason. Even though season 1 was animated well, nothing incredible, but it was animated well. There's a reason nobody liked the first adaptation. And season 2 was an embarrassment, but there's a reason why nobody liked season 1. Everyone said go read the manga. This happens with every fucking manga on Earth. This just happens so often. So I don't know. I can't trust it. I genuinely cannot trust it. All right, next, I think Sakamoto's anime flopped because of cut content and had below average animation. Agree, manga fights / choreography is better, but if it was given the free run treatment, I think it would have popped off. You can say that about any manga though. Any manga given the free run treatment, free run has a lot better animation people give it credit for. Anybody with the free run animation team and the free run director would have popped off. It would have popped off. It doesn't matter. Like, it wouldn't have mattered. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. My opinion still stands about Sakamoto Days, though, in my opinion. I just said my opinion still stands. Sakamoto Days, awful dialogue, awful writing, awful whatever. Fights are some of the best I've ever read in manga. That's why everyone was hyped about it. That's why everyone loved it. I watched a YouTube video recently that said, that was like, oh, I love the Sakamoto Days fights are so... Because they are! The Sakamoto Days fights are some of the best shit I've ever read in my entire life. Genuinely. Like, they're so well choreographed. So well done. They're so creative. The art and paneling are fantastic. Like, I think the JJK author, Gege Akutami, literally said, when I read a Sakamoto Days fight, it makes me feel, like, insecure and makes me feel like I need to do better. And that's JJK, who also has incredible fights. Like, it is done that well. I will glaze the fights to all of eternity. But the manga writing, oh my god. There was a scene. It was, I forgot what he said. But it was between the main, it was like, you know, like that character who's like stupid, but he's a great shot. He's like that weird like anime trope or whatever. Or just like a trope in general. But like he's like the great shot, but he's incredibly stupid. He was talking to like, the guy who can read minds, and the guy who can read minds, literally, it felt like I was reading a children's book. He literally goes, bro, you know, like, what people think about you doesn't matter? I wanted to rip my fucking eyes out. I wanted to rip my heart out of my chest. That is the most telling, not showing dialogue. That is the most bare bones, idiotic, annoying dialogue I've ever read in my entire life. And that's supposed to translate well to an anime? No! The fights, for that anime to have done well, the fights need to be as creative, as well animated, fantastic, top tier sound design, incredible direction for it to live up to the manga. And it got, in my opinion, it got average to above average animation. The animation was still good, and I liked the art style of it, but it was not going to hit the peaks of the manga. It wouldn't have touched it. Now, the anime is getting to some of the better parts of Sakamoto Days, so I'm excited to see like what they do with it. But I'll watch the second season. I think it's this season actually, the summer season. I'll watch the second season. But what I've seen of it, of the 12 episodes I've watched, or how many ever are in the first season, I was like, this is the most. It just felt bare bones to me. And it's because anime, especially with a manga that can paint itself with incredible fights and whatever, it had to rely on its writing, and the writing is not good enough to hold it. Gachi Akuta is done by Bones, so animation should be decent. I would guess it would be like Fire Force level of popularity. Though, okay, I agree. It'll be Fire Force level of popularity. It's going to be popular. I'm not saying it's not going to be. It's not going to be Dandadan level. Dandadan is fucking huge. Like, people don't understand. Dandadan is the biggest manga and anime out right now. Yeah, it is, easily. It is. Because I have never seen so many people watching anime, but it has to. It's like just popular as like when One Punch Man season 1 came out or Jujutsu Kaisen. It's genuinely just as maybe a little bit less, but it's just as popular. It's fucking huge. And the anime movie, like they showed like the first 3 episodes or 2 episodes, however much it was. That movie did so well. I saw so many people watching it and so many people going to it. I genuinely think that like that's like the top standard we're gonna get. And then when Kagurabachi comes out, it's gonna be up there. Gachiakuda, it's not popular enough as a manga. It's popular as shit. It's really like not that big. It's big, not that big. And I think it will be Firefest levels of popularity. If it was in a different season, if it was in the last season, I could see it being really big. Just because that season was kind of bare bones. It was very much Windbaker and Fire Force were the ones who were carrying the season. I didn't even watch Fire Force, but those were the 2 big ones. If Gachikudo was in that season, it'd probably be bigger. But because the season is so just enveloped with fucking sequels and honestly better manga in my opinion, genuinely the Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity might be bigger than Gachikudo. Like when the season actually happens. It might be. Because there's a lot of people who love romance. So we'll see what happens. And actually I might be wrong on the animation front. Just because I actually heard that the Studio Bones have like a second branch where it's like a movie studio. So they're the studio that make all the movies for Studio Bones, which, you know, that's all like the high like quality ones. And I hear Gachakuda is being animated by the movie one. So it might be a lot better than I'm thinking. And anime trailers are usually always bad, no matter how good the manga or how good the actual anime is. So it might be better than I'm thinking, but I don't think it'll hit the levels of popularity people are thinking about. Bonus hot take. So this is an actual hot take because he didn't say any hot takes. He just was talking about mine. Being able to stay up to date with a series should take priority over sticking to physical only. Vinland Saga finishes next month, and experience that ending with the community and friends should be more important than waiting for slightly better print quality. I kind of agree. There's 2 sides of the manga community, though. There is the side that when a manga volume comes out, everyone talks about it, but there's also the side of when a chapter comes out, everyone talks about it. I prefer the manga format because I'm getting a bigger chunk of manga at a better sized pace, and it definitely depends on the manga you're reading. Vinland Saga is a more dense manga, so it might be better weekly, but something like Blue Lock, I want to kill someone. Every single time I hear someone go, bro, this manga is so badly paced, even though the author has said in every fucking interview, I write the manga for volume pacing. And every time I read a volume of Blue Lock, like the genuine volume, it's paced like perfectly. But when it's chapter to chapter, it's obviously gonna feel slow. So Blue Lock, I think, is a manga that you need to read volume by volume, not chapter by chapter, even though I do read it chapter by chapter online. What else? I can't really think of any other manga. I know there's a big like Chainsaw Man thing. Honestly, what I hear, because manga chapters have so little content, but we have to wait 7 days for them each time. A lot of times I hear people complaining about manga chapters more than hyping them up or being happy. Because they'll be like, I haven't waited a year for this character to show up. I haven't waited a year, which is a fair criticism. But chapters are so short. A year is 52 chapters. In a bigger manga, in a manga like Blue Lock, that's a match and a half. You know what I mean? Like, literally we just had a match that lasted a year. The entire thing lasted a year. So, like, if you didn't like the match, let's say you're reading volume to volume, if you didn't like the match, you have to stick with it for 3-4 volumes, that's it. If you didn't like the match, weekly, oh my god, you were fucked. Because you had to stick through that shit week by week by week by week. And obviously you would come to hate the manga, even though it's my favorite match of the manga. PXG versus Bastard Munich. Obviously you would come to hate the manga, so it might be based on preference. I don't know. I'm going to go quickly through the last 2 because we do not have time. Because I had to restart this shit, I wasn't able to do it very well. Let's see. Let me find an actual hot take. Hot take. Okay, here we go. Lone Wolf and Cub does not deserve a deluxe edition. Yes, it's an old series that should definitely get a reprint in a bigger format. That's better than those 3-in-1 Omnis, but I think deluxe should have incredible art, and regardless of what you think of the art of that series, it really does not need those massive pages. I wish it was Gantz, but whatever. Okay, let's start with that first one because he goes on to the next one. I also wish it was Gantz. Gantz has a lot better art than Lone Wolf and Cub. I genuinely don't care for Lone Wolf and Cub. I'm never going to buy those editions. I always have the opinion that whenever a company releases something stupid, complaining about it online is never going to be the answer. It's just going to be voting with your wallet. Like, the company does not give a fuck what people say online. The company just cares about margins and money. That's all they care about. If someone... There could be a million trillion people complaining about things about a game who say, this shit is bad about this game, this shit's bad about this game, and this is bad about this game. If the company is making money off of it, and they make a shitload of money off of it too, they will never change them, not in a billion years, if they are making money. Unless it is actively, like, not making them money, they'll change it, but they won't change it. Like, they just won't. So, most people, I don't think, are going to be buying these. I don't think they're going to do that well. I think they're going to hear the outcry for the Gantz editions. They might release them. I hear the reason why they haven't come out with them yet is just because the smaller omnibus just didn't do that well. So, because they don't do that well, they're not going to, they're taking a while to release them. So, we'll have to see. I would actually not prefer. I think it would be cool to do just a bigger omnibus, kind of like, but you don't have to do like a deluxe, like hardcover. Kind of like the Fighting for Tomorrow omnibuses versus the Berserk omnibuses. Like, I think that would be cool, just like a hardcover one. I don't really care about deluxe editions though. I don't think I have a single deluxe edition besides Fighting for Tomorrow, if you want to count that. I don't think I have a single deluxe edition in my collection. Like, I don't care for them. He also says, also Gundam should not all have a deluxe edition just because it has one of the best releases in manga and it's already hardcover rather. AOT should get a deluxe edition because this might be another hot take. Those colossal editions are terrible. Everyone agrees they're terrible. Nobody likes them. It should not be considered a premium edition by any standards. Yeah, I think most people have the singles anyway, or the like smaller omnibus, the smaller like 3-in-1s. I don't know about this. I don't really care. Again, I don't really buy deluxe editions, so I don't. And I'm honestly running out of time. Okay. Next. I think this is the only hot take one. Yes. Hot take, Dandadan is the most overhyped manga of the decade. And the only reason people buy it is for the hype and because the spines look good. Okay. First off, I'm a big believer in all hot takes are true because they're opinions. There's literally a flaw in your opinion because the manga was hyped before the English releases even existed. So why would Americans be hyped about Dandadan when the English editions weren't even real? So first off, that's flawed. Second off, I don't agree at all. The manga has a lot of reasons to be very good. Again, I will always say this. Manga art is probably the biggest factor on why a manga series is popular or not. Because, let's be honest, and this is also me included, when you begin a manga, you want to look at the pretty pictures. The story could be incredible. The story could be fantastic. And usually when it is fantastic, no matter how bad or good the manga art is, you can usually still enjoy it. Manga art needs to be like, the first thing you're looking at is the art. It's like when you meet a person, it's like when people say like, oh, I don't look at appearances. I just look at the personality inside. When you meet a person, the first thing you're looking at is their face. So you're like face to face, like your your opinion about that person is gonna be dictated by their looks. If they're incredibly ugly or whatever, you're gonna immediately associate stereotypes with them. If there's a person who is 600 pounds, this is gonna sound mean by the way, 600 pounds and is the smelliest person ever and is like the ugliest person in the world and does not take showers and doesn't have a job, whatever, that person could be the nicest person in the world. When you meet him, and your opinion could change about him, when you meet him, you're going to have a negative view on him. So, like, And you could take the opposite of that. It could be the scummiest person in the world, but if they look like the kindest soul ever, your first opinion is going to be positive. That's just like on a person-to-person basis. You can do that with any other medium in the world besides maybe books. But books have covers. Like, you know that term where it's like, don't judge a book by its cover, but then don't make a shit cover? Like, the first thing you're looking at with a manga is going to be the art. So the art is fucking beautiful. It's some of the best art I've ever read in my entire life, genuinely. So fucking good. It's wacky enough to stay consistently good chapter to chapter, and it's also wacky enough to be in like the internet mainstream. Like, internet wise, most people want to read something goofy. Like, genuinely, they just want to read something goofy. They don't want to read something bland. There's a reason why Vinland Saga, even though people credit it as one of the greatest stories ever, does not get the respect it deserves, because it's not goofy. It's not goofy at all. Think about the most popular things. There's an element of goofiness or an element of uniqueness to that story. Except, again, this is my opinion, except for maybe Kagurabachi. But there's a reason why it's not popular. I think it's fucking incredible. If you don't like it, that's fine. You don't have to like it. But in my opinion, I think it deserves a hype. Now, obviously, there are other manga that I wish were more popular than it. Like, if I had to trade the Dandadan popularity for Full Night or Versus or Trillion Game, whatever, I would do that in a heartbeat, because I think those manga are better. Or at least, like, maybe not Trillion Game is better, but Versus and Full Night, I believe, are better. So I would trade those for, Dandadan's popularity. But it's one of those manga where I can read it and I'm like, yeah, I see why this gets the hype. Like, it is good. Kagurabachi, again, I know I see the millions of comments that are like, read Kagurabachi Volume 2, you'll change your mind. But at least with Kagurabachi Volume 1, I read it and I'm like, I don't get the hype. JJK, I read it and I'm like, this is a good manga. I like the manga. I don't know why it's the most popular manga ever. One Piece, I read it, I'm like, I understand why it's popular, because it's good. Dandadan is not one of those. It's not in that category of, this is good, but I don't know why it's so overhyped. For you, if it is in there, huge respect, that's great for you. My opinion, though, I see why it deserves hype. There's probably someone else there's probably other videos that you can just look up, Dandadan video essay or whatever, or why is Dandadan good, and you can find a million people who say why it's good or whatever, just to like see someone else's opinion. I'm not that good at explaining things. I'm not gonna link them like I did the Horizon. I care about the Horizon more, but yeah, I just don't agree with that at all. Okay, that's gonna be the end of the video. Thank you for watching. This video was long as fuck. Next video, I don't know what it's gonna be, but thank you for watching.